Welcome to the Backstage Astrology Marathon. My name is Myra Medina. I'm so happy you're here to listen to our astrologers and their stories. How did they live 2025 and what they are expecting on 2026? So I was trying to write like a nice introduction, but then I gave up. So I'm just going to explain you what this marathon is about. I'm trying to collect stories from our astrologers to ask them how was 2025 for them, because we're always rushing, 2026, we want to know what's going to happen because there's so much uncertainty, but maybe sometimes we just forget to integrate the lessons and all the transits and all the eclipses we live through 2025. So I'm asking them, how was it for you as an astrologer? And maybe we can draw some lessons from their experiences, from their own journeys. So I hope you like this series. Usually I publish one episode per week, but because this is a marathon, I'm trying to publish more episodes, like maybe 2 or 3 per week, where you will be able to listen to some astrologers and how this year was for them. So this is what we're doing with the marathon. And if it's your first time here in Backstage Astrology, we are not doing predictions or stuff like that. We are just asking astrologers what it is to be an astrologer, the journeys they go through, the lessons. So it's more like a storytelling project, really.
I think one of the most frustrating things about being an astrologer is people want to treat you like you're stupid. Like, oh, you believe in that superstitious or that medieval rubbish. They want to act like you don't know what you're talking about.
Honey, you just talk so much. And I never caught it. And so the talking led me into, I was in about 6th grade, and they said, we want to put you in Spanish. We want to put you in French. I called into a radio show and I answered a question. Immediately after the show, they said, would you like a job? Do you want a job?
What?
And it started a decade career in radio. I had never studied for radio. I didn't anything.
First of all, the thing that was most remarkable for me was when I realized that Eris was conjunct my 8th house moon. And in that relocation chart, Eris is right on my MC. Is it an accident that I wrote a book on Eris? I don't think so.
Right. I wasn't free at all. I was very much in my past pain and suffering and holding on to a lot of those things.
The ship is sinking and we may all go down with it. It was like, okay, like this might be the end of astrology. Literally, I was like, this could be the end. Like this really could.
It's more personal, more intimate. So maybe if you're an astrologer or even a therapist, you can also draw some lessons from astrologers, because they experience burnout, also the social media, all the digital world, their businesses. So we're trying to ask them what was the journey, and maybe we can also extract some very important lessons, real lessons from real people, astrologers, the real person behind the scenes. This is what it is called Backstage Astrology. So I hope you tune into the marathon. If you really like these conversations, I've prepared a special portal for you for December 2025 and January 2026, where you can access, you just need to register, and you can access these conversations forever. And also you will be hearing some news. You will be able to suggest people for the podcast and to help me maybe draft some questions for them. So I will leave the link below if you want to register and listen to some interviews that will be published in January. You can listen to them right now. So, just trying to see if you guys like this project so I can continue with it, because it takes a lot of energy. I love doing these things. I love editing videos. I actually help astrologers with their creating the digital content and all sort of things and websites and stuff. And this is, why I started doing this, because when I listen to their backstage stories, I'm like, oh, like, why you don't tell this on public? Like, maybe we can learn something from that. So I hope you enjoy Backstage Astrology and the marathon that is going to be out there for 1 month on YouTube. After 1 month, maybe I will take some interviews down and will be available only for subscribers. This is a content that is for free, and you just need to register, and this lets me know that you like the content. So I hope you enjoyed this specific interview with this amazing astrologer, and I hope you have a really nice closing of 2025. And by the way, we're interviewing astrologers in English and Spanish. Maybe you notice I have an accent. English is not my main language, but I'm trying my best. So, thank you for being here and enjoy this conversation. Hi, welcome back to Backstage Astrology. And my name is Maria Medina, and I'm here with teacher, professional astrologer, AstroViktor. I'm very happy to be here with him because we're going to talk about 2025 and 2026. I'm going to ask Victor how was 2025 for him and what are the transits that he's looking forward to for next year. And the point of these conversations is to reflect on our 2025. But first of all, Victor, how are you today? Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me back. I'm doing great, actually.
Victor, 2025, what a year. How was it for you? What are the, special moments that come to your mind as you reflect upon it?
2025 was, or is, almost, was a mixed emotions actually for me.
Mhm.
I mean, there were really nice moments, less nice moments. But overall, it wasn't for me, it wasn't a catastrophic year. I mean, I focused a lot on myself to start with. I was in a relationship. I guess I'm not in a relationship right now.
Mhm.
I ended it not long ago, actually,
Aw.
a good 3, 4 weeks ago. But, sometimes things don't work out. So we're just gonna have to put an end to it. And then it's been not going for a while. I've got South Node moving through my seventh house. And I was expecting, that something might be happening connected to relationships and contractual agreements. And then I had that feeling that it's not working. But if I want to be 100% honest, then I was like, well, I'm going to be 43 in a second. And dating and relationship is not that easy. So I kept giving a chance to this relationship. But I had to realize recently, especially when we had the Venus and South Node conjunction happening in my seventh house,
Ay.
that it's not working. So I have to walk away from it. So yes, that was one. But I'm not sad about it. I mean, life moves on, so I'm ready for the next opportunity. And then I had to kind of like psychologically get through, the idea that I don't have to bury myself because I'm 43 and the dating life is getting more and more difficult. So I was like, I'm looking good, so I can attract another opportunity, and then yeah, the business slowed down slightly bit as well, which I expected anyway. So I
Mhm.
knew that that was going to happen. I had Saturn conjuncting my financial planet in 2025, and in 2024, my solar arc Saturn was squaring my financial planet. So it was a continuous story. And then now Saturn enters my second house. So I was ready for it.
Ah.
And therefore, I started kind of like moving things a little bit around and thinking how I can best utilize this aspect. And I just started looking at price tags more, or, going for the bargains, or not wasting money on things that I don't need.
Mm.
So, because I've got a bit of a shoe and perfume addiction, so I haven't bought a pair of shoes for, I think, 3, 4 months because I've got at least 60 pairs anyway. So, so astrology is sometimes super good for preparing yourself for something maybe tougher that comes, and Saturn Mars aspects can be slightly bit tougher, but also at the same time, it is about willpower and putting the effort in. So I feel like this year I worked a little bit harder as well, just to make sure that things are not going to kind of fall apart. So I think I launched, this was the very first year when I did a 12 sign forecast. Each of them are 2.5, 3 hours long,
Mm.
which was a huge work anyway. just to gather your thoughts and recording and editing and all those type of stuff. So I've put a lot of effort in it. Previous years, I never wanted to do such thing because, at the end of the day, it's general and it's as personal as possible. I mean, based on your rising sign, we can try to do that, but obviously it's highly personal. We need to see your natal chart as well. But I decided that still it could, because I think people are going through right now a bit of a financial situation. Of course, globally, this is happening not just with people, but economy and so forth. So I decided to do something more affordable so that at least they can still have a bit of a guideline what to make out of the very upcoming 2026-27 transits, because these are very transitional years, in my opinion. I mean, Uranus changing sign, Chiron is changing sign. We're going to have a Chiron Pluto Jupiter T square. So we've got a lot of changes coming up in 2026. And I think, like I said, even though these are tough aspects, you can utilize them in the bestest possible way if you understand their meaning.
Mm.
So yeah, that's why I put that one together. Or obviously, I wrote a book as well last year.
Yeah, you've done a lot, Victor, this year.
And I am about to just finish a second house guideline, a complete guideline for your second house. And this is what I'm going to work on in the next 1 year. I'm going to work through all the 12 houses and obviously so that people can utilize it through their own natal chart. So yeah, it's been pretty much of a busy year. I worked out. Unfortunately, I did gain a bit of weight. So now I'm working on trying to get back down. Yes.
Wow, Victor, you've done so many things. So, for those who don't know, Victor has prepared a guide for each sign for 2026. I'm gonna leave the link in the description below where you can get this. You're gonna get a video, you're gonna get a small calendar, you're gonna get obviously Victor's guidance. And very interesting things happening on 2026, but we're gonna leave that for the second part of this interview. Victor, you were talking about Saturn touching on your financial planet. Can you explain people what is a financial planet? Maybe they don't know and how it has affected you really.
Sure. So we've got 12 houses of your chart, and the second house is responsible for finances. It
Mhm.
has got other meanings as well. We can approach it always from a physical or psychological, emotional level as well. So the second house might be connected to finances as well as self-worth or inherited things from our parents, something that we store in the second house. But it also connects, for example, to food
Mhm.
and what we put down in our throat. So each house has got a ruler, and in my case, the second house ruler is Mars.
Mm.
And whenever, for example, Mars gets either challenged or supported by other planets, then that could talk to us about self-worth or money opportunities or hindrance. So because Saturn is more on the drying out type of element, so Mars is a very passionate planet, and Saturn started to dry it out a little bit. So this could talk to us about, for example, on physical manifestation, that our energy level is a lot lower. And I think in 2025, actually, my energy level was a lot lower, thinking back. Even though I still go to the gym twice a day, Monday to Friday, one
Wow.
boxing and one weightlifting. But sometimes the second session is always like most of the times it's a bit of dragging your feet. I
Mhm.
don't want to
Mm.
go. I don't want to go. But I've already paid for the lesson. Okay, I'm going. And then by the time I finish, I'm all charged up and stuff like that. But
Right.
to get there is sometimes a bit difficult. And I think that's exactly Saturn and Mars aspect anyway, which, like I said, it's about willpower. And Saturn is the taskmaster, so says to Mars, no, you have to gather your energy, you have to get there. You made a commitment, so fall through. And my Mars is in Pisces natally, so sometimes it likes procrastinating and just, kind of like it's a soldier is swimming in the ocean. Obviously, you're gonna run out of
Mm.
energy at one point. A soldier is more about quick shooting rather than swimming the ocean through. So Saturn can help there quite significantly, of course, to get to the finish line also. But I did feel a little bit, yes, a little bit lower energy-wise, because the
Mhm.
second house represents the contained energy within the body from a physical point of view. So when, let's say, Saturn comes around, you might see that you are not as motivated as, or your vitalities are not as strong as, let's say, they used to be.
Mhm.
Yeah, so, but Saturn is walking away, thank God, from my
Mhm.
Mars. So I'm hoping that
Mhm.
I'm going to get my mojo back and I'm gonna, yeah, because when it came to my diet, like I said, the second house food as well,
Mhm.
I could not. Saturn probably was telling my Mars, cut out, certain type of food out of your diet, but I just, it didn't work.
You don't feel like.
So in March, I did a sport camp
Mhm.
and I lost 10 kilos there and I looked really good. And then by the end of August, September, it came back on. Well, one of the
Mm.
reasons is because I didn't want to spend the summer in Marrakesh.
You're located in Morocco, right?
Yes, and
Mm.
in Marrakesh, the summer was like 45, 48 degrees. So already in May, it was 40, 42. And I was already struggling. And then June, middle of June, when it started being 48, I was like, bye bye. So I went to northern Morocco, where actually the summer is just 29, 32 degrees. So I rented there a place and I did that online and I didn't even assume that there wouldn't be, a proper kitchen. So there was no proper kitchen there. And I ended up having to order every single day because I was like, okay, so what can I do now? I paid for 2 months. So, I should have asked if there was a kitchen or kitchen
Well, of course,
utensils.
you assume there is a kitchen where.
Yes, but this is more of a holiday town where
Ah. Mm.
people go there to spend a couple of weeks there
Mm.
to survive the heat. So it
Mm.
does make sense that there was no kitchen, but it
Mm.
did not cross my mind to ask. So same with air conditioning as well. There was no air conditioning. And I was like, excuse me, why did I not ask? So I bought this mobile klima, and then it
Mm.
was okay. But for 1 week, I slept basically on the balcony. Because in Tetuan, the weather drop. I mean, the temperature drops to about 20 degrees in the evening. So that's very bearable. But the hot air gets stuck in the house, even though the windows are open.
Mhm.
So I ended up, kind of like struggling. I can only sleep properly in 16 to 18 degrees.
Wow.
Yes. Otherwise,
Wow.
I'm still using air conditioning in the evening before I go to bed,
Yeah.
even though it's about 20 degrees right now in Marrakesh as well in the evening, like at night.
Mhm.
But it's just too much for me. So, yeah, I cannot sleep without air
And
conditioning.
how do you manage to work under such conditions? I mean, you're doing research, you're teaching for hours, sitting there. How was it for you in that sense?
Well, yeah, I mean, in Marrakesh, it's no problem because I've got free air conditioning. So if it's
Yeah.
too hot, I switch it on everywhere and then it's all good. In Tetuan, well, once I bought the mobile klima, then it was basically standing right next to me and then I was doing my work. So it was okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
So you were mentioning that this year, we could say maybe, I don't know, that the relationship area was like kind of challenging.
Just to remind people, can you tell us your sun, rising, moon, stelliums, so they can understand maybe why this relationship area was a bit of a challenge?
So I've got a Pisces rising sign, and my
Mm,
sun is in Aquarius in the 12th house, and I've got a moon, part of a stellium in Sagittarius in the 10th house. So moon actually conjunct Jupiter as well. So I've got a lot of freedom loving signatures.
mhm,
But this relationship went to the extreme where it gave me too much freedom. And my partner was kind of like happy meeting once every 3 months.
mhm,
And then we
mhm.
survived 1.5 years that way because my partner was in the army, got only holidays, 10-day holidays every 3 months.
Mm, mhm.
So that was okay. But the army, the service finished in July and it kind of carried on this every 3 month type of
Oh,
thing or every 2 months. And you cannot build a foundation, a relationship foundation if you meet the person every 2 months, even though you guys meet or speak every single day. So for me, an ideal relationship is, yeah, let's spend, I don't know, 2, 3 days together a week, and then the rest is you do whatever you want and I do whatever I want.
mhm,
Obviously, faithfully and all those type of stuff. That's how these freedom-loving signs operate. But like I said, I'm at that stage of my life where maybe it works for a teenager meeting every 2 months. It doesn't work
mhm,
for me anymore. So
mhm.
I had to make a decision about it.
Victor, did you experience your Uranus opposition already, or you're actually living it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm about to
Ah,
experience that at the end of 26, beginning of
ah.
27.
How does it look like? Do you think there are gonna be certain changes or, uh, sudden surprises?
Well, we will see. I mean,
Mm,
Uranus is in my 10th house, and the transit
mm,
Uranus will be in the fourth.
mhm,
And I've been thinking about different business ideas and opportunities, and potentially I can imagine, even though I'm not going to leave astrology behind, but I can imagine doing something else,
mhm,
something
mhm,
that I'm passionate about.
mhm, mhm,
And most likely this would be sports related or some type of other venues. So we will see. I don't have, I mean, I would like to mention that great Uranus opposing Uranus, but the everyone is going to experience those around the same age, somewhere
mhm.
around 42 to 43.
Aha.
But, psychologically speaking, this is the time when we have got the kind of like the midlife crisis coming up, right? And we make a lot of decisions and we leave relationships, work behind, and all those type of stuff.
Mhm,
So, Uranus, I think it will enhance the idea of me traveling more or just to focus on my own freedom and adventures and wanting to experience a lot of things. So
mhm.
it's going to shake up a little bit my emotional foundation, I believe.
Wow, interesting. And how did these eclipses hit you? 2025, the eclipses were on Virgo, Pisces. Are you still working with them? What do you foresee for 2026? We still have a couple of eclipses on that ex axis, right?
Yes, so one of the eclipses happened actually on my Mars.
Oh.
So, but it's important to remember that eclipses fall out in about 18 month time. I know that the
Mm,
popular belief is that, an eclipse lasts for 3 to 6 months, but actually it lasts for about 18. And one of
mhm,
the reasons is because when you have got an eclipse 9 months later, that eclipse point is going to get squared by the sun or the moon.
mm,
And then 18 months later, it's going to be opposed. So those degrees, an eclipse degree becomes sensitive for 18 months. So, like I said, Mars represents travel and finances in my chart. So, well, I did travel quite a few times, of course, in 2025 as well. But I think it did bring a highlight to my finances that I have to reorganize it, or I have to have a better, like expenditure and way of thinking about money. So, and also at the same time, like I said, because the second house is also about self-love. And, maybe it's a bit cliche, but you cannot love someone else without loving yourself.
Hmm.
So, because obviously the second house is a Taurian house, seventh house is a Libra house. Both of them are ruled by Venus. So these two houses are interconnected. And because they have got this natural quincunx happening between them two,
Hmm.
basically that's where that cliche comes into the picture. If you cannot love yourself, you are going to be projecting that onto your relationship, and therefore you're going to be seeking for validations and all those type of stuff, and obviously that could ruin a relationship. And I think that's the realization I had to make in 2025, that I cannot stay together with a person because they are aesthetically very pleasing and they are actually nice. It's a nice person that I'm talking about, but they are not ready to come out of their own comfort zone.
Mm.
Recently, I watched this presentation or video on the current generation. And the
Mm.
current generation is they what they said about the current generation was that they are living in a mama hotel.
Hmm.
So what it means is that the current generation stays at home. They cannot detach themselves from the mom. On one hand, because obviously mom gives them security, mommy cooks, mommy cleans, and it's cheaper. And the young kids nowadays cannot afford, of course, living on their own.
Hmm.
The property prices are in the sky and so
Yeah.
forth. So there's no other choice but to stay at home. And that was the main problem in my relationship as well, where, okay, of course I can move to you, but what am I going to do with mom? And I'm like, okay, but at one point we all have to grow up, right? So we all have to, a relationship has to be made, it has to work. Otherwise, well, anyway, I never wanted my partner to choose between family and me. So that's exactly why I
Mm.
kind of stepped out
Oh,
of it.
wow.
Because, yeah, family is important. Blood is thicker than water. So family is important. And at one
And
point, this person is going to realize, that if he wants a successful relationship, he's going to have to get out of this mama hotel syndrome.
Wow, 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 wow. Vic, and how has it been for you that, Pluto in Aquarius? Because you have an interesting Aquarius house. It's in the 12th house. You also have your sun there. So what would you say? It's been already 2 years of Pluto in Aquarius. Do you have any reflections or challenges or lessons you can think
Well,
of?
when Pluto went into the sign of Aquarius, that's when I took sport and getting rid of bad habits more seriously.
Mm, yeah.
So it all started in 2020 when we had the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction in my
Yeah.
12th house, and that's when I started turning my life around. But when Pluto went into the 12th house, that's when I started attending sport camps, sport retreats,
Mm.
and I kind of got obsessed with it. And I was once I spent 7 months at a sport camp. The next time I spent 3 months, then 1 month, then another 1 month, and so forth. So, but it hasn't triggered anything in my chart yet.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, even though it's in the 12th house and then it's operating under the subconscious,
Uh-huh.
but it hasn't triggered any of my planets just yet. I mean, it's about to trigger Moon, actually, in my
Wow.
10th house by a
Wow.
sextile. But
Hmm.
other than that, I didn't have much of an issue with Pluto in the 12th so far.
Amazing, amazing. So Vic, What are the transits you're looking forward personally, not collectively? If you want to learn about collectively, you can go to Victor's channel. He has a lot of videos about what's coming, but for yourself, which ones are you looking forward? Which ones give you excitement, and which ones are a little bit like, I don't know.
I'm looking forward to the Saturn and Jupiter trine.
Aha.
I'm capitalizing on that, or I'm expecting a lot from
Hmm.
that. Now, the Saturn Jupiter trine will, there is one currently happening,
Yeah.
but it's not an exact trine.
Mm.
Uh, Jupiter currently is in 25 degree of Cancer,
Mm.
while Saturn is on 25 degree of Pisces. So it looks like it's an exact trine, but it's not because actually the small minutes are not meeting up. So it's kind of like a missed opportunity, or imagine this currently as you are about to drink a glass of water and then someone snatches the glass out of your hand.
Mhm.
So it's a failed opportunity here, or a failed attempt. Jupiter is very passionate in the sign of Cancer about, protecting the family and giving birth to a child. And it almost happens, and then somehow Saturn kind of snatches it. But next year we're gonna have exact trine happening when Saturn will be on 13 degree of Aries and Jupiter will be on 13 degree of Leo.
Ah.
So that's a perfect trine. And Saturn Jupiter trines are about, or Saturn Jupiter cycles are about business cycles, or when we want to crystallize our visions, we want to give shape and form to it. So, meaning that, this trine is only going to work for people if they do have a vision and then they put the work in. And there's the Saturnian element there.
Mm.
But I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to it. Because on one hand, Jupiter is connected to my career, and Saturn is connected to my long-term goals and my business ideas. So I believe I'm gonna have some business opportunities coming up next year.
Mhm.
Well,
Mhm.
at least I'm putting that out to the universe right now. So hopefully they listen up there. And then they are, bringing that vision to life that I have been kind of like thinking about.
What about, for example, for you, Victor, with an Aquarius sun? We also have the nodes moving to Aquarius Leo axis. Um, are you excited about it, or are you like, not sure?
To be
What's your
honest, I'm
thing?
not that excited about it. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
always good to be reflecting back,
Mm-hmm.
like 9 or 18 years before.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, we're going to have the shift happening in 2026
Mm-hmm.
mid-year. And so the last time when we had, but there was a reverse one. So that happened around 2008, 2017, sorry.
Oh,
2017. And then previously it happened around 2009.
wow.
So, reflecting back on that, what went down in my life. I mean, collectively, 2008, 2009, that's when we had the nodes in Leo and Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I relocated. I had a major relocation and I went to England and I lived there for um, almost 13 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and and 2017, 18, that's another relocation for me. I left
Wow.
pretty much England and then I started traveling the world. So I wouldn't be shocked actually if maybe this is going to bring certain type of relocations for me.
Interesting, the patterns. But also
Yeah,
you were mentioning, and I'm so glad you mentioned the Jupiter Saturn cycle because we had this conjunction in 2020. And I think that's when you pretty much started to get out there with your YouTube channel. No,
that's right.
right? You started, and now there is this trine. How do you relate this to your kind of like vocation journey you've been through?
Well, this might be, I mean, on one hand, it could bring me a boost.
Mm,
Secondly, it could indicate maybe that I'm about to start a new
Mm-hmm.
platform, and
Mm-hmm.
that can go pretty well. I mean, with Saturn, it's never quick, but it's steady at least.
Mm-hmm.
And Jupiter obviously gonna be in Leo, which is very helpful if someone wants to be on a stage. And Saturn in Aries wants us to have the courage to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I always wanted to do something connected to like helping people to lose weight and to get in shape.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
always a battle for me, and I think I've got the knowledge now to be able to help. Or, I think often, I was laughing the other day because I started watching The Biggest Loser. Do you remember that
Oh, wow.
series? And I was telling my friend, oh, if I watch The Biggest Loser, do you think I'm going to just lose weight because I'm watching them lose weight, But it's a type of mental calibration, right? And I know that 95% of those people put weight back on. But
Um,
obviously, because what happens is that you are trying to lose weight, but you are not taking care of the root cause of the problem.
mm,
You are not figuring it out. So I remember I had this client a couple of weeks ago, and she came to me the very first time, I think 1 or 2 years ago, because she wanted to lose weight. So we went through what food to eat,
oh,
astrologically
wow.
speaking. Obviously, I put my knowledge into it as well. And she did manage to lose weight, but Jupiter went into her first house last year. And I told her at that time that, listen, if you are not having meaning to life, and then if you are not um, kind of like, embrace the Jupiterian quality, which is about freedom and sometimes letting go and starting a new chapter in your life, most likely you're going to start putting weight back on. And so she came a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, she started putting weight back on.
Oh,
But she's got some really brilliant stuff going on in her charts. I think she's going to get back into shape. But basically, she didn't know how to leave work and relationship behind. She wanted to start fresh. And that's exactly what Jupiter wants in the first house. Let's start fresh.
oh.
But she didn't have the courage. And I think she just needed a bit of a chit chat, to get that courage to move forward.
Mm,
And that's exactly what happens often, I think, with people's journey, that we are not eliminating the root cause of problems. And I feel like with astrology, as well as with my personal knowledge, I would be able to help people to lose weight and to kind of maintain it because I've been doing it for 7 years now and I'm
yeah.
doing great with it. So I think I cracked the code.
Amazing. And if you can, I was talking to another astrologer that she's using astrology in education and, the learning patterns of kids. She's a teacher also. And now you're mentioning astrology and your habits and your nutrition and exercise. I mean, it can be used in so many ways to improve our lives. But of course, if we don't have the willpower or the commitment, now with Saturn in Aries and Neptune also, I think the commitment will be important. So I think, guys, astrology is a great tool, and I'm so happy if you take this path. It will be great to have, someone to go to learn more about our habits and which type of routine or exercises are best for us, and more especially, I think the motivation and the psychology, because sometimes you're lifting weights, but even though you have the physical energy, the mind is very powerful.
That's right. I mean,
Mm,
um, obviously, psychology says that if you want to get rid of a bad habit, you have to do it at least for 30 days.
mm,
Um, so let's say, you want to quit smoking. For 30 days, it's going to be very tough, but after it gets easier and easier. What we usually don't forget is that the little demon stays in our head. And at one point,
yes.
when we are at the crossroads, then yes, we're gonna have the temptation there. And the other thing that I usually see with this weight, is that I eat everything. People do ask me, what do you eat? I eat everything. I eat cake. I eat this and that. It's just I try to do that with moderation. Or
Mm,
if I eat cake, then I go and just work out a little bit extra hard. But I'm not willing to give up on good things in life. I mean, come on.
Right.
I don't want to be a rabbit living on salads. I'm not saying that salad is bad. It's just not me. I'm a heavy, fiery person. I need meat. Meat with meat. I'm happy if there is no garnish to it, but don't take the meat away from my plate because I'm gonna get mad. So, and I think it's just understanding some of these concepts, for example, through your natal chart, what you need. To give you a tip, for example, if you've got Aquarius, for example, on the fifth house cusp, you should never do weightlifting and stuff like that. You need to do some team exercise. Like
Hmm.
let's do spinning classes or stuff like that. Because what
Hmm.
happens is, let's say, you're gonna lose motivation if you just, let's say, do the weightlifting all the time, and then you're gonna end up quitting. So
Mm.
your chances, let's say, with a spinning class or I don't know, basketball or something that is team spirited, you are increasing your chances that you're gonna stick around
Mm.
a lot longer.
Yeah.
The fifth house represents sports and fun activities, something that we do for pleasure.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if I've got an Aries on the fifth house, because most likely the weightlifting does work for you because you're gonna start enjoying. Oh, I'm seeing muscles there. My biceps is getting bigger. Great, let's carry on doing that. But so I think sometimes just to have that extra little tip that might keep you, for example, with an exercise longer is crucial.
Interesting. Amazing. So, Victor, what do you make of Mercury's retrogradation, you say in English? The yeah,
Retrogression, yeah. The current one
retrogradation.
is a very interesting one.
Uh-huh.
So Mercury went or is about to go retrograde. Actually, it's today. So
Mm.
it's about to go retrograde on 6 degree of Sagittarius, and then it's
Hmm.
gonna go back to 20 degree of Scorpio.
Hmm.
Now, this retrogression is super interesting for multiple reasons. One of the reasons is because Mercury actually transferred the light between Saturn and Jupiter. So, like I said at the beginning, there is no actual trine happening between Saturn and Jupiter. But when
Mm.
Mercury was in the sign of Scorpio around 25 degree, then basically it formed a grand trine
Hmm. Hmm.
between those two. So Mercury was able to bring the opportunity together. So the first Mercury retrogression potentially brought us an opportunity, kind of like a message about
Hmm.
an opportunity. Imagine that you got a phone call, for example, from your bank, Scorpio, that you've got the opportunity to get a loan. And
Hmm.
we are happy about it.
Hmm.
And then Mercury went into the sign of Sagittarius. So that grand trine disappeared, but Mercury is about to go back into Scorpio on the 18th of November. And around the 20th, that grand trine is going to happen again.
Wow.
So this might be talking to us about a second opportunity or an opportunity that might have failed the first time, and then now somehow it comes back to us in certain ways. And Mercury retrogression stops on 20 degree of Scorpio, and then it's going to form another grand trine with Saturn and Jupiter. So that's one of the reasons why this retrograde is super interesting. The second reason is that Mercury meets all the outer planets as well. So it is running into Pluto and then opposes Uranus, and then it's going to form a trine with Neptune as well. And that is also happening 3 times. And actually, forgetting about Mercury, the current era, I mean, this October, November, December, even the December was super significant because every single personal planet triggered or is about to trigger all the outer planets.
Hmm.
So these last 3 months of the year is really showing us what's going to come in the next 3 years.
Wow. Hmm.
So Mercury did that, and then Mars ran into Saturn, Jupiter, Neptune, Pluto, Uranus all at once. And then after, Venus is about to do that this month as well, and the beginning of next month. So that's why it's actually a very crucial period. And, I prepare weekly forecasts, and now it's a little bit all over the place, actually.
Mhm.
The only reason why it's all over the place because it's not weekly anymore. Sometimes I do it for 10 days because I don't want to break the aspect pattern. So what I mean by that is that imagine Mercury is making a trine to Jupiter and Saturn and maybe Neptune, and then the following week it would be running into Pluto, Uranus, and that's it.
Wow.
So I don't want to break the pattern because this is a chain. Right? So
Ah.
Mercury runs into Jupiter, then Saturn, then Neptune, then Uranus, then Pluto. So it's kind of like a sequence of events.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's why nowadays my forecast sometimes for 8 days, sometimes for 10 days.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yes, so this was the last week was the very first, oh no, sorry, this week is the very first week when um, the forecast is from Monday to Sunday. So yeah.
You do this for your members, no? On your YouTube
Yes,
channel,
I
right? Yeah, I
do
remember
that
that.
for my members, and then I break it down for all 12 signs as well. And these videos are approximately about 20 to 30 minutes long for each rising sign. So I try to make it as practical as possible.
Mhm. Lastly, for example, Mercury retrograde in 2026 will be in water signs and
Yeah.
probably gonna be on your rising sign. So can you do you have any tips or how does it behave? Right now it's like on fire and now it moves to water signs.
So one year is always a shifting year from Mercury's perspective. So this year we had fire and water.
Uh-huh.
So all retrogression started in fire, ended in water. Next year, it's only going to be happening in water. So what is very unique about Mercury's retrograde that it has got that 11-month loop.
Mm-hmm.
So meaning that we had a retrogression now on 6 degree of Sagittarius.
Uh-huh.
11 months later, Mercury will go direct around 6 degree, and the retrogression will start, let's say, around 21 degree of Sagittarius.
Mm,
Mercury covers about 15 degree during the
degrees.
retrogression.
Mm,
So there is going to be a shift, and that the shift happens every 2 to 3 years. So Mercury retrogression is in water signs are going to be highly about like having to think about our emotional roots and doing the healing.
okay.
So I think in my personal, chart is going to talk about I'm gonna have to kind of change my mindset about how I think about myself and how I see myself happy.
Mm,
Because one of the water cusp of my chart is the fifth, the other one is the ninth, and then obviously my first house. And this
mm-hmm.
is the recreational triangle. So
Right.
never interpret a Mercury retrograde in just one house. Look at the other pairs as well. So 1, 5, 9, for example, or 2, 6, and 10.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have got it in the 2, 6, 10, then this is going to be talking to you about reevaluating your work. So in my case, it's about what I want to create and what makes me happy. So I wouldn't be shocked if next year would be a major move, and then, for example, because I want to be happier, or I want to find maybe certain type of roots, or maybe I'm going to relocate because I meet someone special. So this is the
Oh.
type of energy that I believe might be happening.
Right, amazing, Victor. So finally, I'm looking at your calendar, the one that you prepared for 2026, and you actually talk about the asteroids, major asteroids. Chiron is gonna move to Taurus. I think that is kind of massive. Then we have Psyche in Gemini, we have Vesta in Aries, wow, and Juno in Capricorn and Aquarius. Can you just give us a sneak peek, a little bit of what this means and how do you relate to it?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people are not looking at the asteroids, but I do like looking at especially the big ones. So, for example, this year, Australia
Mm.
spent almost 11 months in the sign of Sagittarius. And Australia is about karma breaking, and also it's about leaving something behind. And Australia just went into the sign of Capricorn this week. So after an 11, or it's about to go into the sign of Capricorn, sorry, this week. So Australia is leaving Sagittarius behind. So it's leaving certain type of opinions, belief systems behind, and then moving into Capricorn, where, it's going to be about building a better kind of like life, but more in a materialistic way. So next year, we're going to have the Aries cusp being the most active of your chart due to Saturn, Neptune. But also, we're going to have Vesta and Pallas Athene retrograde happening there as well.
Oh,
So,
retrograde.
yes.
Wow.
So, and it is going to be happening in the entire Aries sign. So, Pallas Athene is about pattern recognition, strategic wisdom, and planning, while Vesta is about focus. Saturn is going to be about limitations as well as crystallization, and Neptune is our vision and dreams. So it really feels like that, if Saturn Neptune wants to make something happen, to make it real, Vesta wheel says we're going to have to be dedicated, we're going to have to focus. And then Pallas Athene says, great, but we cannot do that without planning.
Oh,
So actually, I think that could be quite supportive. In a very negative way, this could really indicate, unfortunately, I mean, Pallas Athene is a warrior princess energy. Neptune is very ideological, and Aries is about fighting for independence, fighting for our human rights, fighting for our survival.
right.
So the worst case scenario could be, unfortunately, on a global level, that people are going to focus on, on their like on their own rights, and then we might see a lot of protest out there.
Right.
So again, it's going to be happening in my second house. So surely, self-love, finances, and food might become quite a prominent topic.
Well, no wonder why you're writing that second booklet, second house booklet.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I started with that, is because, maybe a lot of Pisces rising sign will need help with that.
Right. Victor, finally, I'm here also in your calendar. Can you give us just your opinion about, I mean, you have really, it's really detailed. What are the signs that are gonna have a very good year? You can mention only the element if you want, and the signs that will have like a challenging year in your opinion. Because I mean, you did all these forecasts for each sign, so maybe you remember a little bit some signs.
Well, I think the fire signs might be doing relatively okay, just because Jupiter will be moving into the sign of Leo,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to have Saturn in Aries, so
Mm-hmm.
that trine could be helping there quite nicely. Um, However, like I said, without vision and aspiration, and without being visible or even a bit creative or risk-taking, then I think it's not going to be that easy though. And I think the challenging element could be actually very much a little bit the air signs.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously with Uranus in Gemini, Uranus can become quite a shock factor. And maybe the mind is unable to kind of like, immediately deal with it. And therefore, the other challenging element could be the earth signs. If they are not willing to get out of their comfort zone, and they are not ready to move towards something new, and something like trying out new things, then this could become quite a challenge. And remember that Uranus, is in between Gemini and Taurus right now. I just prepared a video about Uranus
Yeah,
retrograde.
it's the last,
Exactly.
yeah.
And this is a very challenging Uranus retrograde. It's not much goodies to talk about there, unfortunately,
I
because it's
know.
just more on the challenging side. But it's clearly about, let's say Taurus gonna have to get out of their comfort
Oh
zone.
my God, more? I'm Taurus rising. Yeah, stop it.
Yeah, and then we're gonna have to embrace, something completely new and move towards something new and stuff like that. So, and I think there's potentially a lot of opportunities for fire signs.
Amazing. Victor, thank you so much for your time. It's been 1 hour, and as usual, it went by so fast. Is there anything else you're working on that you want to tell people about? Are you doing any specials, during Christmas? Well, you already built your 2026 astrology forecast. They're still on your website, right? I'm gonna leave the link below.
I
Is there
am.
any new course, retreat, webinar, coming on in the month of December, January?
The month of December, well, surely I'm going to have a Black Friday sales, and this is going to be a big one, as
Mm.
well as I usually do a Christmas sales.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the house rulership course running. No other courses are planned just yet, but I do have a few webinars that are popping up. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna hold one about dispositors
Oh, interesting.
on the 6th of December, how to read dispositor chain in your chart. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to have one on Am I Cursed? Recently, I got quite a few inquiries about curse and stuff like that.
What?
So I'm gonna show you signatures from a traditional point of view. What could indicate someone being cursed?
Wow, that's so unique and interesting in itself. That's very interesting. Okay, so that's what's coming. And for 2026, you have something in mind for the first semester, let's say, or you go with the flow?
Not yet. I'm gonna do the planning in December for
Amazing.
the first quarter, exactly gonna be happening because the current course that I'm running is 20 weeks. So that's about to finish most likely in February. And I don't want to get too scattered. And so I haven't planned. So nothing will be happening until February, surely, like a bigger type of things. But I will be spending Christmas and New Year's in New York. So if
Oh,
anyone
big.
wants to see me there, then maybe we can actually organize that.
That would be great. And maybe somebody wants to have a reading. Do you do readings in person?
Yeah,
Mhm.
last time when I went to New York, actually every day I did personal readings.
Ah, it's so much fun to be in
Uh,
person. I think it's a whole different experience, isn't it?
exactly.
Yeah.
Back in the days, a good 15, 20 years ago, I was so against of doing readings online, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. But the world has gone that way. But going back to that personal element is so cool. You know,
Mhm.
it just gives that magical touch to it.
Yeah, I'm sure. So, Victor, finally, what is one quote or sentence that you will tell other people regarding 2026?
2026, like I said, it's a transitional year. So I think the most important part is to embrace the change, not to look back, welcome the change and go towards it. Because unfortunately, I do believe that we're going to have a major economic crisis coming up
Yeah, I wanted to ask you more, but maybe we'll leave it for
26,
a,
27,
yeah.
and more 27, and and then we only feel the winds of it right now. But
Mhm.
so therefore, everyone should be looking out for opportunities and having a plan B and even a plan C. That's exactly what I'm doing right now, having the plan Bs and the plan Cs.
Amazing. So, guys, you got it. A very good way to use astrology also is to see what are potential scenarios. So, there you go. And Victor, thank you so much again. I obviously hope to have you soon to talk more about this Saturn-Jupiter cycle more in detail, because I think it's a fascinating topic in 2026 and 2027. So Victor, thank you so much. And thank you guys for being here. Leave us a comment, share the video, or just, you can leave a question for Victor if you feel like, and see you in the next episode. Bye.